Hey everybody, welcome to Connecting Cannabis, brought to you by Wrazel. I, of course, am your host, Brian Holler. Hope you guys are doing well and having a great day. Today we're speaking with Debbie Cochran, CEO and founder of Go Terpy. She's here to talk to us about her battle with fibromyalgia and how that inspired her to create an amazing CBD product and company. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about California Lightworks. Since 2008, California Lightworks has been guided by a vision focused on the research, design, development, and horticulture. By applying the latest advances in high-efficiency solid-state lighting and controls technology, their team provides worldwide growers new grow lights that deliver clear benefits at a competitive price. Their LED grow lamps, circuit boards, power supplies, sheet metal cover, and final assembly are all made in-house at their facility. Backed by their solid reputation for standing behind their products, California Lightworks also offers industry-leading warranties on all their commercial grow lights. Please check them out. To learn more about them, go to californialightworks.com. All right, so now I want to introduce our special guest today, Miss Debbie Cochran. Debbie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. I'm really excited to talk to you. You have a really, really great story, and it's very inspiring. And obviously, I met you a few weeks back, or actually a few months back now, and you shared it with us. So I'm really happy that you've agreed to share a little bit about your background and your story with us today. Let's start with the obvious. A lot of people don't know what fibromyalgia is. So why don't we just kind of give a general description of, what is fibromyalgia and how does it affect humans, the body?
Fibromyalgia is it's a widespread body pain. It's the neurotransmitters in your brain that are signaling your body that it hurts pretty much everywhere. Fibromyalgia is characterized, a lot of people have, troubles with anxiety, chronic pain, sleep, things of that nature.
So it's like it's like your nerve endings that, for most people, like, yes, if I, pinch myself, I feel a little bit of discomfort there, but you have it just going on like all over your body or at certain parts of it without even that kind of thing happening, correct?
Correct. I mean, if you break your arm, you're going to take an Advil or a pain pill. It's going to address the, precise place it hurts. Fibromyalgia is more about your nerves. So it's a lot of nerve pain, and it is, pretty much all over.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's very hard to predict as well, and hard to kind of prepare for. It's not like, every, morning at 2 o'clock or every morning at 9 a.m. I'm going to have my pain in my arm or anything. It just comes out of nowhere. Yes?
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah. So it comes out of nowhere. So there you are. You're dealing with fibromyalgia. What were you first kind of prescribed? Like, obviously you're diagnosed with it. What were you first kind of prescribed or told to do?
Well, I was diagnosed after I had a hysterectomy, so a little over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I saw a specialist in Orange County that was giving seminars on fibromyalgia, and they prescribed a whole lot of medications, from Lyrica to the Oxy to Opana to the fentanyl patch. I was on Ambien, ibuprofen, Soma, a whole list of them.
Yes.
Which all are just being symptoms. They're not doing anything to cure fibromyalgia or cure any illness. It's all just treating symptoms.
Yeah, you took the next question right out of my mouth. I was going to say, so that sounds like a lot of, pills and prescriptions. I think I know the answer to this, but how did they help or not help?
Well, they don't really help. I mean, you go back, maybe they help a little bit because they knock you out and you're sleeping and you can't function, but the pain is still there. You go back to the doctor, I still hurt, I still have this symptom. So, well, let's prescribe a higher milligram of Oxy of 40 milligrams, 90-day supply. And then at home, you've got 90-day supplies of all different strengths of narcotics and adding more pills, and you can't function. You can't drive, you can't have a life, you can't do anything. And in the meantime, I did that for 2 years, never getting any better at all.
Right.
At all.
So obviously, and then of course, I'm going to guess, some of the side effects of taking all those pills were starting to cause maybe other problems.
Absolutely. I've had kidney stones 4 times, still have to get ultrasounds of my kidneys now every 6 months. I've lost a couple of molars because The pharmaceutical drugs, they will destroy parts, your teeth, same as the street drugs. They're just putting a little cookie cutter pill. So the side effects that you have from that are worse. I mean, they're...
Sure. And so obviously you're, probably at your wit's end at this point. You're 2 years into being diagnosed with this. You're on all these pills, maybe, helping you minorly, but it's also bringing all these other side effects that are not good to your body. So how do you discover that CBD or THC or cannabis could help?
Well, I have 2 sons, and my son had a friend come over whose friend had knee surgery. And she was telling me about cannabis and how it was legal now because, I used cannabis as a teenager, but got married, had kids, and I did the thing of, I better not do this anymore. So I didn't. Sure. But when she came by and found out it was legal and she could use it for her knee pain, I was like, well, shoot, let's try it, So went to the dispensary. It was, oh my goodness. Boy, had they changed from, grass and skunk.
Right, yeah, and all of a sudden you have to see all these products and all this, stuff. Yeah.
And so that got me off a lot of the narcotic part of it. Got me off, the Norco. It got me off the Oxy. It got me off a lot of the narcotics. However, I still was taking Soma at night. I still needed Ambien to sleep. I still needed 800 milligrams of ibuprofen because I also have arthritis in my neck and knee. And just the cannabis wasn't enough by itself, or I needed such a high amount of it that you can't, necessarily eat a 500 milligram edible and, think you're going to go out and function.
It's not if you'd like, form a coherent sentence anytime in the next, 4 or 5 hours after that. Yes.
And then, fortunately, I started, working in the industry and learning about CBD, and I worked for a woman named Jessica Peters. She had a product called Moxie Meds for Women, which was also a tincture. So I learned a lot through her. I also did some green flower media classes on terpenes and things, started taking CBD, and before I knew it, I didn't really plan on, I'm going to not take that pill anymore, don't need that one. I just, I didn't need it. I went to sleep and I stayed asleep. I didn't need my Ambien.
Right.
And just started learning more on how that worked, and then learning more about terpenes and their medicinal role. And before I know it, I still have fibromyalgia, but I don't need any pharmaceuticals anymore
to treat it. Right. And so it sounds like, you first got in, you're like, I'm going to, smoke some, product or whatever. That worked to alleviate some of the symptoms. And then you learned a little more through classes and, just your own research, et cetera. And then you discover kind of, maybe if I use like a tincture, right, that can address some other kind of things that are happening with me. And as you kind of did them, all those other things like the Ambien you're taking, the Soma, kind of drifted off because you were like, I don't need it as much, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so here you are, you're like, wow, this stuff really works. It's helping change my life, and I'm feeling a lot better. I have a higher quality of, life essentially at this point. And so how do you get inspired to create Go Terpy from that point?
From the point of learning on CBD,
So you're working in the industry now, right?
Really, then I started learning more about terpenes and really studying terpenes. Now, most of us are familiar with strawberry banana or grape terpene or something, if we're vaping or for flavor.
Right.
Well, through some of the classes that I took, I was learning about isolated terpenes, not for flavor, but for their medical benefit. So when we started learning about them, putting the terpenes together to also synergize with each other. So you've got a terpene that's got a medical benefit, another terpene that's got a medical benefit, but some terpenes, when you put together, synergize and make each other stronger. So for me personally, learning about terpenes, studying them, creating the blend for Go Terpy really makes a big difference for my symptoms.
Sure.
I've done it without the terpenes. I still get benefit. We do use a whole plant CO2 extracted, hemp oil, but terpenes are a big one. So that was part of my learning process in all of this, and why I decided to, we decided to create our product was really based on the blend of terpenes to use for medicinal, really make sure there's a good CBD whole plant. There are other good ones out there, but just to be able to share, our story, our product. And
it's interesting about terpenes specifically because, I was just talking the other day with Jeff Danzer, who's a cannabis chef. And he was talking about how he create terpenes for like flavor, exactly right. Or he has flavorless odor that you can integrate with some things, and it's really, really cool. But I love that you're talking about terpenes kind of from a more scientific and medicinal perspective as well, because I think this kind of exacerbates the power, like explains like the power of these terpenes we're just really scratching the surface,
Right.
in a lot of ways, because a chef is using it to enhance flavors for edibles, right? But also a CBD company is using different blends of it to really have the most effective, at least in your opinion, certainly, and
Right.
researched, for health benefits.
Right. Well, a lot of us are, been familiar with essential oils for a long time, whether it be, lavender oil or a citrus essential oil. We put it in a diffuser. Now, not most of those aren't necessarily ingestible. Essential oils are many compounds, they're not isolated. So when you take an isolated terpene, though, and with ours, you can cook with it. It's ingestible, or they are organic. It also matters how terpenes are extracted, just as we care how our oil or CBD and THC oil is extracted. For instance, ours is solvent-free CO2. It also matters how our terpenes are extracted for flavor and just the best, benefits from them. But I think it's great. I mean, in terms of even cannabis, when we choose strains of cannabis, it's not the THC level in there that we're really gravitating to. It's the terpenes within that strain that's the steering wheel to how we want to feel. So when you take these isolated terpenes and you put them into a tincture, you are getting the benefit of what you get from the CBD and the whole plant, the CBN, the CBD, all of it. And then when you're adding in isolated terpenes that are also have medicinal value, that aren't for flavor. Of course, they flavor it a little bit because, they're from plants.
Sure, right.
But when they're all medicinal, it really makes a difference. And it's really exciting to me now. I think that we came out a few years ago, 4 years ago, and people were like, what's Go Terpy? What Terpy? What does that mean? And we might have been a little ahead, but now it's really exciting to see the way we are learning about terpenes. I mean, the reason our name is Go Terpy is Go Terpy, go with terps.
Go with those terps. That's right. And that's a great lead into basically explaining your company. It's interesting. We're talking about, the benefits of CBD or tincture or specifically terpenes, right? But
right.
If I recall correctly, your company has products that are, CBD based only, but also you have maybe a mix of THC and CBD and some other
Correct.
things like that. So could you kind of elaborate more on, that and why that might be appealing to a consumer one way or the other?
Sure. We have our full spectrum tincture. We also use full spectrum in our salve as well. The full spectrum, the difference is it has up to the legal limit of 0.3% THC in it. Now that percentage of THC is not going to psychoactively affect anybody in terms of making them high, but it does create what's called the entourage effect. Again, we go back to the synergy, because when you have all the cannabinoids working together synergistically, everything works stronger and works a little bit better. However, for those who, they have jobs or maybe they just don't want any THC for personal choice, you also have, I'll show you right here, there's our THC free, 100% THC free. So you can take that, and it has our same terpene blend in it. It still has as much as we could provide to you, minus THC.
Mm-hmm. So it's really just a personal preference at that point, or actually there are some other, I guess medicinal benefits to the blend with THC in it that might not be in the CBD one yet. You're still getting all the terpenes and the full spectrum. So
yes, we included our blend in there, and Yeah.
So as long as the health benefits are there, regardless of which way you go, yet you can get a little bit of that THC kind of mental relaxation type feeling as well if you take the one that's mixed.
Correct. I mean, a lot of people with CBD, when you say there isn't a psychoactive effect, that's true. There's not. However, I mean, there is a head change. There's an effect if you're suffering from anxiety and you take some CBD and you feel that calming effect. Well, that is a head change. You're going to feel that, but it's not as if, the same for someone who were to.
Yeah, I suppose there's a feeling that like you feel, quote, normal, and then you can feel, quote, high, right? But then I feel bad. And then when I take this, it clears my head. So now I feel better, right? And those are, like you're right. They're different, but they help you often in both ways. So it's kind of interesting.
Anxiety is a big one. I have anxiety and I use it for anxiety regularly. Yep. So a lot of people think, oh, it's going to make you tired. You're going to fall asleep. It doesn't. That's not what it is. The reason it helps you with sleep and anxiety is because it's calming you and it's bringing everything into balance. And that's why you can sleep. And that's why you can do things more clear-headed. That's
also interesting because what I think a lot of people are finding, I think a lot of people have known this for a long time, but the general public's finding out. So, THC, if you take too much, you're not ready for it, it can cause kind of effects that would mimic anxiety, right? You can take CBD. And in fact, CBD is the best thing for you to take if you're feeling that way to bring you to a nice level place.
Correct. And that's THC can cause anxiety. CBD will take that edge off as well. So it's a great addition to, a lot of people CBD only, that's great. But a lot of cannabis users, it's a great addition for all kinds of reasons.
Absolutely.
And one of them is taking the edge off of the negative effects of CBD, THC, excuse me.
Yeah, that is exactly right. So, Debbie, I really appreciate you sharing your story with us today. It's really great to kind of hear the inspiration behind Go Terpy, but even more so to see you smiling and happy and in a place where your conditions are better or at least mitigated to the point where you can smile and work and you're able to function fine.
It is night and day. If Go Terpy goes bye-bye, which it won't, but if it did, it's my medicine for life. If I had to choose, you put me on an island, you say choose your CBD or any other medication, including cannabis, I'm going to take my CBD and I'm going to go on that island because for me, it is the most benefit. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And thank you again for sharing. So before we go, let's make sure everybody knows where to find you and Go Terpy out there.
Okay. You can find us on Instagram at Go Terpy, GOTERPY. Our website, www.goterpy.com, and Facebook, Go Terpy.
Excellent. And you can also find them on Wrazel and the business database. Of course, if you are looking for connecting on a B2B level, Wrazel.com is definitely a resource for you. Certainly if you are looking to partner, meet, or invest in or raise capital for your business company or for your cannabis company, excuse me. Debbie, thank you so much once again. I look forward to doing it again soon. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure.